Winter, 1777. The American Revolution is on the brink of collapse. The Continental Army is exhausted, outnumbered, and losing hope. Defeats have shaken confidence in the rebellion. Many believe independence is slipping away. But then, in the freezing darkness of a January night, General George Washington makes a decision so bold, so dangerous, that if it fails, the revolution could end before it truly begins. Within just 8 days, Washington would lead his army to 2 stunning victories, reviving the American cause and changing the course of history forever. This is the story of how one risky gamble turned defeat into belief and gave birth to a nation. By the winter of 1776, the American rebels faced disaster. The British Empire, the most powerful military force in the world, had pushed Washington's army into retreat after retreat. Morale was dangerously low. Many soldiers had no boots, no warm clothing, and little food. The dream of independence was fading. General George Washington understood that without a decisive victory, the revolution might collapse completely. But then came an opportunity. On December 26, 1776, Washington achieved a surprise victory at Trenton. But one victory was not enough. The British were regrouping, and time was running out. After the victory at Trenton, Washington crossed the Delaware River and paused, waiting for the British response. Then, on December 29th, he made a shocking decision. Instead of retreating, he marched 6,800 soldiers back toward danger. The terrain had turned into deep mud due to heavy rain. Escape routes were limited. British General Charles Cornwallis began advancing with experienced troops known as Redcoats, British soldiers famous for their bright red uniforms. Cornwallis intended to crush the rebellion once and for all. The trap was closing. On January 2nd, American forces managed to hold back the first British attack, but more British troops were approaching. Defeat seemed almost certain by morning. Washington needed a miracle. Under the cover of darkness, he devised a daring plan. Leaving campfires burning to fool the British into thinking the army remained in place, Washington quietly moved his troops away. Artillery wheels were wrapped in cloth to silence their movement. In freezing silence, the Continental Army slipped past the enemy, marching through the night toward Princeton. As dawn broke near Princeton, Washington divided his forces. One group was sent to block British reinforcements, but the Americans were discovered. Gunfire erupted. Smoke filled the cold morning air. During the clash, British soldiers launched a bayonet charge, attacking with blades fixed to the end of their muskets. American General Hugh Mercer was mortally wounded. The American line began to falter. Panic spread. Retreat seemed inevitable. At Princeton, leadership, not numbers, would decide the morning. Washington chose risk to steady men who wavered. His unshaken calm became the Army's backbone. A few firm words rekindled discipline and resolve. In that moment, doubt yielded to purposeful courage. Officers reformed ranks. Washington ordered a decisive counterattack. At that critical moment, George Washington rode directly into the battlefield. Just 30 yards from the British line, within range of enemy fire. Instead of retreating, he rallied his troops. Witnesses later described the moment with awe, as Washington remained calm under immense danger. His courage inspired the soldiers around him. The American line steadied. Then, Washington ordered a counterattack. The British were forced to withdraw. The Americans pressed forward into Princeton. British forces took position inside Nassau Hall, the main building of the College of New Jersey. Today, this institution is known as Princeton University. The building's thick stone walls provided strong protection. Washington ordered artillery into position. Cannons were aimed at the building. Legend tells that the officer who ordered the shots was a young artillery captain named Alexander Hamilton, a future founding father of the United States. Ironically, Hamilton had once applied to study at this very college and had been rejected. Now, his artillery fire forced the British defenders to surrender. Meanwhile, General Cornwallis had discovered Washington's daring nighttime escape. Realizing he had been outmaneuvered, he rushed his forces toward Princeton. But Washington chose caution. Rather than risk another battle, he withdrew his army toward Morristown. There, the Continental Army would regroup, rest, and survive the harsh winter. Sometimes, knowing when not to fight is the greatest victory of all. The victory at Princeton was more than a battlefield success. It restored belief. Belief in the Army, belief in leadership, belief in independence. One young soldier later wrote to his wife, "Oh, my Mary, it was a glorious day, and I would not have missed it for all the money I could ever hope to earn." The victories at Trenton and Princeton proved that the American cause was not lost. The revolution would continue, and history would never be the same. Sometimes, one bold decision is enough to change the fate of a nation.